My name is Kyla Jeffrey. I'm the Director of Customer Success for HeroX. And what that means is I've had the great pleasure of working with Franz and Alex and the team at SAP on this project, really understanding why this project is important to them and helping them through this open innovation journey. So I'll be here to moderate the webinar today, and I'd like to pass it over to Franz for an introduction.
Oh, thanks so much, Kyla. So my name is Franz Peter. I'm responsible for open innovation at SAP, and to this end, very, very happy about this HeroX Data Anonymization Challenge, your engagement, your participation also in today's call. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to all your questions.
Thanks, Franz. Alex.
Hi, my name is Alex Kuser. I'm a senior data scientist at SAP, and I'm responsible for the technical parts of this challenge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So just so everyone has an idea of what to expect for today's call, I'm going to pass it over to Franz and Alex, who will give an overview of the challenge and get into some details that are important for you to know. After that, I'll share my screen and just kind of show you the challenge page and where to find all the critical pieces of information that you need. And then we'll go into a Q&A session. So as we're talking, if there's any questions that come up for you, please do post them either into the chat box, which you can find along the bottom of your screen, or there's also a Q&A box, so they can go in either of those places. We are recording the webinar today, so you don't need to worry about scratching down notes quickly. We'll share this recording with you after the call. All right, Franz, I will pass it over to you.
Thanks again, Kyla. Appreciate it. So I thought before we dive into the challenge and talk about all the technicalities, and in particular why this challenge really matters to you, to us, I would just like to spend, I think, a couple of minutes why actually you matter to us even more so. And I think just want to use the opportunity here for a note of very deep appreciation for this amazing community of innovators. I mean, we have already seen a lot of great participation, amazing submissions to the leaderboard, and I think what we are talking about today in terms of the subject matter being data anonymization, I think there is still a lot more meaning even beyond that to our interaction. It's more than just solving the specific puzzle of data anonymization. So I just want to fully acknowledge that and thank you for your engagement, because for us here at SAP, engaging with you as leading experts, leading data scientists, innovators is something we really, really deeply care about. This is also pretty much my job description. That's our open innovation mission statement, because we are convinced that innovation comes exactly through this type of openness and collaboration across organizational boundaries. And innovation not only comes from the inside of an organization, from siloed research organizations, but equally also from the outside, from communities like this one. And I think in a world of largely distributed knowledge, this type of fluidity, permeability is exactly what drives technological progress and also enables new business models for us and for our customers. So in a nutshell, this open innovation that we are having here, that we are creating together here is absolutely vital also to our mission, to our vision as a company. It helps us to keep our promise in terms of helping our customers to run at their very best. It also helps us as a company to fulfill our very self-defined purpose in terms of helping the world run better and improve people's lives. And we do so by engineering solutions that have the potential to transform industries, grow economies, foster equality, and just spread opportunities across borders and cultures. I think this is really something important to us, and certainly something not we can do all by ourselves. We can only do that, or can only achieve that purpose by openly collaborating with this community, with our customers and partners collectively. And I thought also of, just to share with you some numbers to give you also a sense how real that really is, and also how meaningful, how deeply impactful your contributions are. let me just share with you a couple of things, and maybe this way we can also segue into the more specific question about the nature of this challenge and why this challenge matters. But in a nutshell, you have to know that SAP serves more than 400,000, 130,000 customers in more than 180 countries. We serve roughly 98% of the top 100 most valued brands in this world. And also an interesting number is that 77% of the world's transaction revenue touches an SAP system. So you can see there is a lot of impact that our enterprise software has. And you can also easily see that our customers place their utmost trust in our systems and our ability to deliver the highest standards in data privacy and security. And now, as it comes to this challenge, as I think you're all aware, as participants, semi-structured data does play a very vital role in these business processes for all of our customers, as all of these transaction revenue touches and flows through our systems. Semi-structured data in various shapes and forms. We're mostly talking about invoices, as we have also provided them as part of this challenge. There's of course also other types like sales orders, account payables, and the like. But I think the bottom line here is that these type of information flow through our SAP systems in great quantities and on a daily basis, and present tremendous opportunities for further automation. But automation has to go hand in hand with data privacy and protection. And this is why this challenge is so important to us. And there have been some, I think, early comments or questions in terms of, well, this has already been solved. There are already solutions out there. Partially there are, but I think we are looking for much more. But why don't I turn it over to you, Alex, to maybe talk a little bit more about the specifics of the challenge, what we're looking here for, and so on.
Okay, I mean, as Franz already said, I mean, it's very important for us as a company, but actually in general to have to share data. And as a data scientist, it's important to get access to data. But the biggest problem with access to data is to also keep the privacy, or keep it private. And for this, where we have this challenge, I mean, we have at the moment we work with invoices, but for machine learning purpose, we can only leverage internal invoices in SAP. But of course, we want to also have access to customer invoices and learn from them and do machine learning on them. But this is not only an SAP problem, it's a problem of generally to get access to semi-structured data for also in medical fields and other fields. And for this, we set up the challenge to build a general framework how one can take semi-structured data like invoices and automatically anonymize them and automatically share them, so one can make data sets available for companies or in general for research and other purposes. Okay. I probably hand it over now to Kyla.
Great. Thank you so much, Alex. So I'm going to share my screen. And I just want to walk you through the HeroX challenge page and where to find some of the key pieces of information. So I think some of the people on this call probably already know where some of these items are, but just as a refresher, what you should be paying attention to. So here's the page on HeroX. The first critical section to make sure you're familiar with is the Guidelines tab. Everything you need to know about the challenge should be within these guidelines. You can see what the winning criteria are. There's a very detailed challenge schedule, and there's even examples of kind of scoring and submission requirements in this document. So I recommend reading it. If you've already read it, I'd suggest reading it again as you're going through your solution, just to make sure you've covered everything that's discussed here. We also have this Resources tab. And this Resources tab is where you can find some of the items for download. They're also linked within the guidelines, but you know that you can find them here as well. We have a forum. So if after this webinar you have any questions that haven't been answered yet, the forum is your best place to go to post them. As you can see, Alex is awesome about replying on the forum, and we'll make sure that we get a response back to you. There's also a leaderboard section, so you can see how everyone's doing on this leaderboard and where you're placing. If you click the drop-down menu here, you can see some of the scores. So, right now we're scoring against personal names and handwritten notes, and your score on the leaderboard is the average of those two. If you have a -1 score on the leaderboard, it means there was something with your submission that it did not run properly and calculate a score. So please take a look at your formatting and in those guidelines, and we'll also do what we can to help you and make sure that it's getting scored accurately and appropriately. When you come to the challenge page, you'll click this Accept Challenge to register if you haven't already done that. You'll be taken to the challenge-specific agreement that you can accept, and then decide whether or not you want to form a team or compete individually. Once you do that, you'll now see this new button to begin your Task 1 leaderboard submission. If I click on this, I can see exactly what needs to be uploaded for the Task 1 leaderboard. All I'm doing here is uploading my JSON-L file and clicking Save and Preview, and then Submit Final Entry. As the challenge progresses, you'll see some new buttons on this page. So in December, we'll be looking for your final package for scoring if you're invited as a finalist, and you'll have a new Begin Entry button there to do that. All right, so that's the details of the challenge page. Now we'll move into the Q&A session. As we go through the session, please do put any questions you have into the chat box or the Q&A, both of which you can find along the bottom of your Zoom window. If there's any questions that we can't answer today, we will take them away with us and do our best to make sure that you get an answer. All right. So my first question is it possible to leverage low accuracy models like the ones we're generating for this contest in enterprise environments?
Okay, so I'll take the question. So, I mean, we know that the task 1 is very, very challenging. And of course, we want a high accuracy model because you want to know with a high accuracy with high accuracy redact like private information. But I mean, there's some point we have to get started. I mean, we want to have, we start now with a medium accuracy model, and then the plan is like to open source it and get eventually a good model. And also it is possible to augment the algorithm with, say, with human annotators who also improve the results.
Great, thank you, Alex. And as we're going through, if you hear a question you've submitted and our answer doesn't quite answer what you were looking for, please do again comment in the chat and let us know. So task 2, we just finished up the task 2 leaderboard, but that doesn't mean task 2 is over. We're still kind of working on that through December. Alex, can you talk a little bit about what you're looking for in task 2?
Okay, so I mean, we're looking for that. Ideally, the outcome should not be recognizable as a redacted invoice. It should look like a normal invoice. So that means we should strive to maintain the font, maintain the style, maintain like background patterns, and make sure that, well, names that, well, matches should also match on the invoice. Ideally, if it's not the case, it's also okay, but it should match. And you should also strive to make sure that you have a good variance in replacing names and something, so that you don't get like all the invoices look the same or have the same names on it, because that would not work very well for machine learning, because then you could learn that this certain name is a redaction. But yeah, that's basically, it should look like a good invoice, and if you show it to your friend and he doesn't see immediately that it's redacted, then it's a good redaction.
Great, thank you, Alex. Yes, I am the friend without the technical background. So that's really Alex's specialty, but it's been really interesting to look at the leaderboard submissions that we've received and see how difficult some of them are to tell from the real ones. Okay, what language must I use for my submission?
You can generally use any language you like, as long as you'll be able to run it. So if you can pack the language up into a Docker image and you run it in Docker, or you can run it on AWS or on any other cloud provider, you can use it for this submission, but you just have to make sure that we can run it.
Great, thank you, Alex. Okay, how do I download the data sets?
Okay, so as Kyla already showed you, there's the resources section with a zip file for task 1 with the dataset. And well, let me just show share my screen to show you what you do if you have this zip file. So I have here, I share here just a console. This is just a macOS console, but if you're on Windows, you can use the Windows subsystem or just an SSH client. And I log in now to a machine on AWS, but you can use any other provider. And as you can see, I uploaded there or downloaded there the zip file from the resources section. And what you just do, you unzip it. And then you go there and you run the download script. And then it will take some time and download all the stuff and convert it. So I cannot run it now because it might take a few hours actually. So let me stop that here. I just show you what is the result. So let me see. If you download it, then it looks like this, and you get the invoices in the invoice directory. It's a lot of invoices, and the labels in the labels JSON. And with this, you can take it from there, and yeah, you have the data set.
Great, thank you so much, Alex.
Let me see. Stop.
Okay. So my next question, there's handwritten text on some of these invoices. Can we assume that the handwritten text is only in the English language?
Most of it is in the English language, but there are some invoices which are in other languages, and the handwritten text can also be in other languages. So we don't guarantee it.
Got it. Thank you, Alex. And what about if there's overlapping bounding boxes on an invoice? How should those be handled?
You should give one box for each item. So if they're overlapped, then they just overlap. Then you just get 2 separate invoices and just let them overlap.
Great, thank you. Okay, what do we have next? So as the challenge progresses, we're going to invite the top competitors based on their task 1 leaderboard score to the final scoring event. What are people going to need to submit if they're invited to that final scoring?
Okay, well, you basically need a zip file which helps us to let us run the code, and help us also to understand what you're doing. So to run the code, we specified a machine on AWS, and we would like just some instructions how to get this code to run. And yeah, basically just some scripts and all the stuff you've done. And we would also like you to submit a model so that we don't have to do the training ourselves just to evaluate the model. Of course, if you think you're the winner, we of course will train the model ourselves and try and test all of it, what you've done. And then, well, we need a README file so that we can follow what you have done and what are your ideas behind it. And yeah, and also documentation and of course the source code.
Great.
Yeah.
And all of those details can be found in the challenge guidelines. right? So if you're looking for that kind of thing, take a look at the challenge guidelines, and you'll have about a week to put together that information on your submission.
Yeah.
Okay. How is intellectual property handled in this competition? What should competitors be aware of about their IP?
So, well, we want to open source the winning solution, or ideally all solutions. And so, yeah, you should be, I mean, you should be aware of that, and we would open source it, and other people will be able to use your solution and also improve on your solution.
Got it, thank you. So if you are selected for as a prize, you'll be asked to open source that entry. And why open source?
As I said, we want to build a general tool. I mean, it's a general problem to anonymize semi-structured data, and we want to be able to build a tool that can automatically does that and solve the problem, like for us, of course, but also for other people, like for research, so that they can open source invoices or other semi-structured data like form data. And yeah, we want to basically have some good tool available for the community, for the data science community.
Great, thank you. Okay, next question. Is there any possible way to validate or run our solution for SAP outside the challenge? I started working on this challenge, but timelines do not fit my current workload since I have another project assignment. What can I do?
So, well, as I said, we are open sourcing the solution, so you can afterwards submit or submit like work together with on this open source project and improve there, and try to get your ideas or submit your ideas to that. And also we will be sharing the labels for the leaderboard after the whole competition is over, so you can run the leaderboard yourself and score yourself against that.
Great, thank you. So I have one last question here. So I have the option to mark an invoice as bad quality, and I can skip them. Can you talk a little bit about the reason for implementing that and how it works?
So I will start with the idea behind it. I mean, we have these invoices in the data set. Some of them are of good quality, but some of them are of really bad quality. And we see that if you have this bad quality invoice, it is probably very hard to anonymize them or redact them, because it's hard to read read the text on it, or and so the idea is that if we can if we cannot anonymize them automatically, we can maybe at least flag them and send them to, well, manual processing, or just remove them from the data set. And we added this possibility to the competition. And so how does it work? I mean, it just gives you a score of 0.5 if you flag an invoice as bad quality. And with this, you, well, maybe don't get the fully high score or full high score, but you get around an average score, and you would probably go better than as to just it's probably you get a better score as to just submit it with wrong boxes or with wrong bounding boxes. Yeah. So in a nutshell, you get like the score of 0.5 if you flag something as bad quality. Yeah.
0.35, correct, Alex?
0.35, yeah.
Yeah, great. So that was all the questions that we've had submitted. If you have a question that hasn't been answered here, please, you can pop it in now and we'll get to it before we close the webinar, but you're also always welcome to post that question in the forum. As Franz mentioned, we're very committed to the success of this challenge and committed to the success of the innovators on this call. So please do post those questions that you have, and we'll make sure we can get back to you. We'll also share the recording from this over the next day or so, so you will have that for you. And with that, I'd really like to extend my thanks to both Franz and Alex for taking the time to share with us and share with the community, and to everyone that listened in.
Well, thank you, Kyla. Thank you also to HeroX and all the innovators out there for helping us to solve this important problem of data anonymization. We're really looking forward to see the challenge conclude, and hopefully also more submissions coming in. So any questions, please keep them going our way.
Wonderful. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day, everyone.